Hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of Dropping into Happiness. We are your hosts. I am Rachel.
And I'm Maggie. Woo!
I feel like I'm getting a little more like game show host every time.
Right.
It's kind of fun though. I like it.
It's nice to know what to expect. People love a routine. So yeah. I'm here for it. I can recite Rachel's entire intro. And that's great.
Well, I know. I feel like we do pretty good with our opening and our exit. We have a pretty solid exit too, like to the point where I think other people can say it too. So
it's a nice sandwich.
I know.
We are the bread, and then we bring in the fancy meats and cheeses in between. Or veggies if you're a vegetarian. Or all of it. Why not?
Yeah, or veggies. And then avocado. I don't know. I don't know how you're feeling today.
Pesto on a sandwich. Sign me up for that.
Oh my gosh, that sounds glorious. Now I kind of want a sandwich. Dang it.
Yeah, like I want a panini.
I know. It's so funny. Like when we do our WW workshops, we chat in the beginning before we get started and everybody's just kind of hanging out. I kid you not, if we ever start talking about snacks or food or our favorites, it's usually like minutes after we're like, we got to get started. It's just like, we get so excited.
Time slips by.
Oh, it's so fun. Well, hello friends around the globe, because we got friends in Ireland and Australia, New Zealand, Czechia, Canada, lots of friends up in Alaska. So hello to everyone around the world, to all of our friends, to all of our sun drops. I haven't said that in a little while. So hello, sun drops. I know.
It's a small world after all.
I know. It's wonderful. Thank you so much for being, for those, if anybody's fairly new, the reason Maggie and I started this podcast was because we wanted to talk to each other. We met virtually in a WW workshop. I'm in California. She's in Florida. We have never met in person to date.
One day we will.
I know, one day. And we really liked talking to each other about our journey and about the things, because they were very parallel, but also very different at the same time. So we knew we had great different perspectives on the same topics, and we really just wanted to talk about it more often. And you guys get to come along too now. So
yay!
Thanks for coming along on our journeys, friends. Well, today's is actually another listener question. This was brought up. I believe she messaged us on our Instagram. So if you are a big social media person, Dropping into Happiness, and literally we are on Facebook, we're on Insta, we're on Twitter, we are on TikTok. So we're on just about everything. Have fun.
Which is hilarious, because like me as an individual, I'm not even on TikTok, but the podcast is. That just cracks me up. I'm like, how often am I just like floating in the universe of TikTok? I'm like, I have no idea about it.
Maggie's face is everywhere and she doesn't even know. But so you guys can reach out to us on any of these platforms. We really do love to respond. We love to see you guys' messages. We love to communicate with you guys one-on-one. And so this actually was a question that was proposed. This is she's a listener / WW member, because she is a member along with us with WW, because that is the program that Maggie and I both use. And Rosina brought this up to us the other day, and I asked her if I could say her name, and she said yes. So hi, Rosina.
Hey.
So this was Rosina's kind of struggle for this week. So we're going to talk this out, and we would love to hear from you guys too, if you guys should ever have this struggle as well. So she says, I still struggle with BLTs. Those are bite, licks, tastes, for those that don't know. I feel like when I'm home and walking by the kitchen, I just have to grab something. I can do this at least 5 times a day on a quiet day. The 5-minute timer, the Apple test, etc., just doesn't help. I know. So like I said, BLT, bite, lick, taste. Those are, when you're walking by and you just grab a chip, or if somebody else was eating, you take a French fry, oh, there's a tray of M&Ms. I'm just going to have 2. And you don't track these things, no matter how you track it. If you're tracking calories, if you're tracking keto, if you're tracking WW dots, you're just not writing these things down. So those are what we call BLTs. I should put this on our Insta. Every so often I'll do like a vocab word of the day. I'll put BLTs on there just so we can remember those ones. So bite, lick, tastes. And I know, I'm guilty of it too. I've gotten a lot better, but I can do that too. And to the point where I'm like, oh, well, it was just one French fry, so I'm not going to track that. But actually talking with Rosina, she even said the other day, now that I think about it, she even said that say she has a couple of chips and she's like, oh, well, I don't know how many points that is. So I'll just have more now to the point where I know how many points that is. And then I'll track that. So she feels like she's eating more when she shouldn't be, just for the fact that she wants to track it. So that has been
well, can I just jump in on that specific one? If that's the case, well, first of all, I feel like a BLT for me is anything that I eat without weighing, measuring, or checking the points ahead of time, the drive-bys, kind of what you said.
Yeah.
So if you do have a drive-by moment, for example, the chips, what you could do is, if you really didn't know, okay, well, let's say I had about 4 chips, 5 chips, whatever the case may be. Well, then whip out your scale, weigh a fresh set of 5 chips, scan your bag, check the grams, the ounces, whatever the case may be. There you have your points. I think then okay, if I eat 5 of these chips, that's 1 point or 2 points. It's usually not even a drop in the bucket, really, when it comes to the grand scheme of things. I think for me, it's I just want to be intentional. In the grand scheme of things, especially if we're leaving a lot of weekly points on the board at the end of the week, those bites, licks, and tastes might not really be impacting your journey as much as you think that they are. However, for someone like me who uses all of my points pretty much to the full potential, the bites and licks and tastes could put me into an unintentional maintenance mode. So I do have to be more aware. So,
which we talked about a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, 3 weeks ago.
So with that, I think that's a manageable fix. If and next time, let's say, okay, if fries are a constant bites, licks, taste character for you, then the next time you get fries, whip out your scale and just measure out a few and see what kind of the points are. And then I think when you have that information in mind, it helps you with the pause, which we're going to talk about the timer and the Apple test and things like that, that Rosina mentioned, just to clear it up for folks who don't know. But I think with the bites, licks, and taste, the pause is really important, because when we bite, lick, taste, oftentimes we're in autopilot. Yeah. And so we have to just take ourselves out of autopilot. Bites, licks, and tastes are normal. It's normal while you're cooking to have a bite of what you're cooking, or it's normal when you see a jar of M&Ms to be right, or it's normal when, and you're probably hungry, you're getting close to dinner time or whatever the case may be, so you're not thinking as clearly and concisely. Same thing, I love peanut M&Ms, and Seth's mom always has a fresh clear glass jar of peanut M&Ms on her counter, so it's I just want to do a drive-by. Well, the first time I looked up that 14 peanut M&Ms or something is 7 points or something, I was oh, okay. Wow. That can add up pretty quickly. So now I'm aware, before I see that jar of peanut M&Ms, I think, oh, I know how many points that is. Is that worth it to me? Because if I track it or not, my body tracks it. Yeah. So if I know the points, I just kind of have that pause. It comes a lot quicker to me than if I don't know the points of something and I'm just woohoo, autopilot, oh, it doesn't matter. So I think with Rosina's specific challenge of having a few things and not being sure how to track it, well, let's just backtrack a little bit, literally, and weigh and measure it and see what the impact is.
Well, and maybe, like you said too, maybe your body is craving a snack, because I feel like I don't do that anymore, because I eat so often, and it's an intended eat. I've mentioned this before. So many of our followers in WW on the workshops know my schedule, because I've mentioned it so many times. I have breakfast by 8:30. I have a snack at 10. I have lunch at 12. I have a snack at 3, and then I have lunch by 5:36. And then a lot of times I'll have a snack at 7, because I know myself. So listen to your body. Are you hungry? Do you want a snack right now? And if maybe you're recognizing these BLTs are happening consistently, maybe it's always at 7 p.m., maybe it's always at 2 in the afternoon, whatever the case may be, maybe you plan a snack for that time and do it intentionally, because then you can measure it out. Or even I've started to do, I've talked about this actually, I snack prep. So I always have hard-boiled eggs in the fridge, or I have like right now I have cut up strawberries in there. Or I'll have, I have 2 baggies of cotton candy grapes right now because I have to take them off the vine or else everybody else in the house won't eat them. But also it's easier for me to just grab some, put them in my 1 cup, bada bing, I'm good to go. So yeah, if it's that drive-by because you're hungry, yeah, do it intentionally. Go ahead, have your snack. That's okay.
Right. Yeah, it is. And like I think the intention is important. I've decided that I'm just worth, if I want something, like I'm worth having a proper portion of it to fulfill the satisfaction. And I remember a member said in workshop, like, I never eat over the kitchen sink anymore. I never eat over a paper towel. Like if I want something, I'm putting it in a nice like ramekin or a bowl or a plate or whatever the case may be. Like just have the portion. Like if that's something that you want. And so, that has really helped my mindset around bites, licks, and taste because I'm like, I'm worth like putting this on a plate and just having it rather than just like grabbing it, putting it in my mouth or like having it straight out of the box. I think we talked about because your snack prep is so on point, if you do buy the big bags of things, I think that's where bites, licks, tastes can come into play is like when you just have a bigger portion of something and it's easier to go on autopilot, take the time ahead to pre-portion the snacks, write the points on it. And then, like going into it, like I'm going to have this full serving and that's okay. Also I thought about because Rosina had mentioned a few techniques that weren't working. I really think tracking some of your, like just setting aside a budget for bites, licks, and tastes at the beginning of the week.
We get it. Yeah, we know it.
I don't know why I have to say it out fully all the time, but I want to be quite clear. No.
Yeah.
But like just set aside when you're planning out your week, like here's 10 points in the, just track 10 points.
Yeah.
BLTs. And then if you don't end up using up those points, like spend them intentionally on something else. I think that's
a great idea. Yeah.
With maintenance mode, you get 5 extra points a day. So BLT could add up to put yourself in maintenance mode. However, that's only really if you're using your points to the full max and then having BLTs on top of it. I don't want us to get so bogged down with it because that's not always what's like stalling us on the journey. Like I don't want us to like really get too worked up about it. I think more so it's like don't stress so much about the points of it all, but just the intention behind it and like having yourself a real portion of it. The timer and the Apple test. We wanted to kind of just talk about that for those that may have not tried it. I'll talk about the the timer, and Rachel, you take, because I know you wanted to mention the Apple test and such.
Yeah.
So with the timer, again, I think you have to be out of autopilot, right? To like know to set a timer. The timer is, okay, I'm wanting to reach for something. My hand is going into the cabinet. Ooh, let me set a timer because I'm not sure if I'm really hungry. I'm going to set a timer for 5 minutes to do anything I want to do except eat. Okay. Literally could be anything. Get your hands really busy, like go organize a drawer, like go call a friend. Like the options are endless. You can do whatever you want. Once that timer goes off after 5 minutes, like reevaluate. Do I still want that item? You can still make that choice, but you've given yourself space to be out of autopilot to decide, like, do I want to spend the points on this? How is it going to impact my budget? Is it worth it to me? All of those questions. At the time, you'll set the timer and you'll just like keep it rolling and you will forget that you even wanted it in the first place. Other times you might decide, okay, I want pizza, but I'm going to make a lower point pizza at home, or, I'm going to have 1 slice in the side salad, or like whatever the case may be. So that's the timer. But I think it's knowing.
And after that, it's an intention by then. Yeah, it's an absolute intention after that timer's gone off.
Right. And so I think, again, it's knowing like I'm reaching for something. And so I think what would help take ourselves out of autopilot is saying it out loud as often as you can. Like, I'm reaching for these M&Ms. Like, okay, what's about to go down with these M&Ms? Or like, I'm putting my hand in the Cheez-It box, right? Like, what's about to go down? Or I'm sipping on this, chili as I'm making it, and just like actually saying it out loud and be like, wait a minute, is this how I want to navigate the situation?
Yeah.
I think that would help. So the apple test is another great one as well.
Rachel? Oh yeah. And you know what's funny about the apple test is, it was actually a technique that was introduced within our WW workshops a while back, but I remember my mother doing this when I was a kid. And I don't even think she realized that it was, a technique that a lot of people use. So when it comes to that afternoon snack, if you're just like, that moment when you're like opening every cabinet and then you open the fridge and you just stand there and you hope that something jumps at you that you're like, oh yeah, I want to eat you. And you don't really know why. If the apple test essentially means, if you can have an apple, like if you're truly hungry, an apple will sound good. It will sound satiable. Mm-hmm. If the thought of having an apple is just like, oh, I want an apple, you're not really hungry. You might just be craving something, something sweet, something salty, not necessarily because you're hungry. And it's so funny because I do it with my kids right now too. And almost every time my son, I'm like, buddy, do you want an apple? And he's like, no, I want Cheetos. And I'm like, at least you recognize, baby. Like, he knows that he's not really hungry. He just is craving Cheetos. But so if an apple doesn't sound good, it doesn't sound appetizing, more than likely, or it could be any fruit actually. I mean, it doesn't have to be an apple.
Any like low point.
Yeah, if apples are not your jam, a banana, a cup of grapes. So yeah, whatever your fruit or whatever. Yeah,
some grilled chicken.
Yeah, like, if the thought of that does not sound appetizing, likely you're not hungry, you're just having that craving. But you know what?
You can then like choose to like. Sorry to step in there, Rachel, but like you can still choose to proceed with the craving, but at least you put yourself in the driver's seat of like what's happening.
And now it's intentional.
Right. Mm-hmm. That's the key. So again, kind of tying back to what Rachel said, sometimes you might actually be hungry. So like recognizing those tendencies and jotting things down when they happen is so helpful. Like I mentioned, like a lot of BLTs seem to happen like as we're cooking or like preparing meals. Well, it's like have a snack before dinner. God bless. Like it's okay before you cook, like have something, set something aside. That's your little snack as you're doing your cooking. I think that would be really helpful. Also, I just wanted to share this before I forgot. If I meant like Rosina mentioned specifically, like I walk by the kitchen, I have to grab something. Well, if anything's in plain sight, we need to take it out of plain sight. So that again, it adds a little bit of friction. So like those peanut M&Ms, obviously that's not my house, so that's not a thing for me.
And my brain goes, put those apples on the counter.
Right? Yeah. Well,
the apples front and center.
I have like bananas like always in my kitchen, and that's what I use for my tests. Like, would I eat a banana right now?
Yeah.
So I like put those so that you could have a drive-by with your carrots. You could have a drive-by. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. And then make the ones that have points just like a little bit more challenging to obtain. Like, put them on the top shelf in the back so that you just have like a second to really think like, wait a minute, I am reaching for the Cheez-Its in the top shelf. Like, do I really want these? Like, I think just adding a little bit of distance between you and the thing. And then at that point, like, you have to check in with your why. You have to check in with why is it important for me to monitor BLTs? Like, at the end of the day, you're in control. You're in control. You have to remind yourself of that. You are in control of what goes in your mouth. And it feels really good to have intention. It feels really good to stick to your goals. And so if bite licks and tastes, BLTs, are something that you're wanting to monitor, like just keep reminding yourself of that. Like, I want to get in control of this habit and I can do it. It's awesome.
Okay. And I feel like the lens that we are viewing this particular struggle through is the lens of someone who does not have children in their household. I know Rosina has grandkids, and but they don't live there with her. However, to my sister friends and my daddies out there, I feel your pain, friends, especially if you have very littles who you make a snack for and then they eat one bite and then there is food still on the plate. And
That's
you're like,
true. I have heard a lot of
I don't want it
like
to go to waste.
Yeah.
Yes. Or like I said, I don't ever get French fries, but if my kids get French fries, and my mom used to call it like the toll. Like if I like pick up dinner or whatever,
Tax.
I'm like,
oh my gosh.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because sorry, you lose a few French fries because I went and bought it for you. Or like my daughter, I don't even know how this is a thing for her. Like she usually, because my breakfast, my avocado toast with my egg patty and spinach. She loves that too. She's named it egg thingy. I don't know why, but she will literally get down to where there's 2 or 3 bites of her egg thingy left and she just can't have it anymore. And she'll hand it to me. And I've already had breakfast. So I always have to have that mental thing like, okay, am I just going to toss this or am I going to have a couple extra bites of breakfast, not knowing how many points that's going to be? Because it's not a half of it. It's maybe a quarter of it. You know what I mean? And it's, that can be a little tricky having kids in the house, like I said, where you don't want to waste the food and things like that. Cause I know my husband will do the same thing. If we give them dinner and then it was just a little too much, or maybe it was a side that they didn't like, he'll finish off their plate just to make sure that it wasn't going to waste. Like, so yeah, I feel your pain, parents out there, cause that's a rough one.
I can imagine that being challenging. And, you know, I just posed the question, is your health worth just saying goodbye to like that kid's serving of chicken nuggets, like whatever it is?
Yeah.
Are you worth that? Because like, I know like it sucks. You feel like you're kind of throwing money down the drain or whatever the case may be, like to the extreme of it. But at the end of the day, like our health is very priceless and we just have to remind ourselves of that. So like, I do want to validate that because I can imagine that's tough. And like, I'm very lucky Seth is not a snacky person. Like, he's not a chip person. He's not a candy person. Like, he's a dessert person. Sorry, my voice is like going out, y'all. Yeah. He's a dessert person. So that's like what I have to manage is like when he brings cake and like cupcakes into the house and all that stuff. Yeah. But like in terms of like snack, like I control a lot of the food that's in the house in terms of like things that I would BLT. So it is a struggle, but I think with anything in our journey, y'all, if you think you can, you will. If you think you can manage BLTs, you will. It might take some time to get yourself out of autopilot, to create new habits, to figure out what it is that's going to work for you. But you can do it. Just like we can do anything that we set our mind to.
Well, and we talked about baby steps last week. Maybe that baby step is right. Getting it out of the line of sight. If you still go and grab it, okay. Now let's move on to step 2. Like what's the next step in that? And it's not going to change overnight. We've talked about, actually in WW, one of my favorite things we've ever talked about is forging those new paths when we are creating new habits. Guys, I want you to visualize a tall field of grass. I love this visualization so much. No joke. I'm not being sarcastic. Visualize that tall
where are we going, Rachel?
And you have a solid path in that grass. And those are your well-worn habits. Those are things that you do without even thinking because it's a smooth path. You've done that. You've gone down that path hundreds of times. But now you're like, okay, I don't want to do that path anymore. So forging a new path, it's going to be a little bumpy. Maybe there's going to be rocks in the road. And usually you got to push that grass aside and kind of stomp it down with your feet. So it's going to be tricky the first 5, 10, 15 times. But the more you instinctively and forcibly go down this new path, the smoother it's going to be. And then do you know what happens to that old path? It'll start to grow over. Right. I mean, every so great often you'll still go down it again, and that's okay. But the less you go down that, the more it's going to grow over, and this new path will be forged, and it's going to get smoother and a lot easier.
Yeah.
I just like always loved that visualization.
Yeah, just like we talked about last week with putting on your patience pants and being patient. It takes time to build habits. It takes time to break them too. And so don't beat yourself up over a bite, lick, or a taste. Like, it's human. It's a normal thing. I think the more we beat ourselves up about something, the more that we end up doing it in the first place. Because it's like we don't want to feel discouraged and we think, well, what's the point and all this stuff. So have some grace. Just try even to track it to the best of your ability, just to move on, to have that accountability, whatever the case may be. But like, we're looking for consistency here, y'all, not perfection, as we've addressed already in the month of September. So you got this, Rosina,
and we believe
and all
in
the BLTers out there. You're not alone. It's normal. Don't panic. Just try something. If it works, great. If it doesn't, try something else.
And if it doesn't, that was not a fail. That was like, you know, when learning. If it doesn't work, you learned. Yeah, we learned, okay, this doesn't work now. So, oh my gosh.
It's like fail first attempt in learning. I love that one.
That's right. Oh, is that going to be another one of our, dang it, I have 2 vocabulary words to post now this week. First attempt.
It's okay. Give yourself the whole month of September, Rachel.
I know. We got to start laying these out for everybody. I love them. I love them. But we believe in you, friends. We are there too. I know before we get to start goals, I forgot I didn't talk about my headband. I know I've been really pushing my headbands this month. But you guys, look at it. It has little pumpkin spice lattes on it. And it says pumpkin spice everything. I know. Honey Bear headbands. I just have to give a shout out every time. I know. I love them so much. I wear them all the time. I love them. So yes. Okay. Yes. Now moving on to start goals and recommendations. Is it my turn to go first? Okay. I recently shifted positions at the radio station that I work at. Yay me. And so my schedule has changed because I'm an early morning worker outer. I like to get up at 6 a.m., go for my run, go to the gym, do my strength training, whatever the case may be. However, I'm now at work by 7 a.m. So that's not really doable because I don't want to get up at 4:30. I'm just not that person. Right. But I'm also not a crazy evening worker outer. I'm not saying anybody is crazy. I'm saying to me,
you're not
that doesn't work for me. Yeah. Cause I get to the end of my day and I do voice work. I do editing. I do graphic design. I do video editing. And so by the end of the day, my brain is really exhausted and I just want to shut down. So by 7 p.m., I'm like, nope, not doing it. So I am getting off a little earlier in the midday though, because I'm starting so much earlier at my station. So I have decided I'm going to start going to the gym before I go home. Because it's right around the corner from my work. And I don't want to lose this aspect of my journey. I mean, we've talked about this before, adjusting our approach, meet us where we are. And this is where I am right now. My schedule has shifted. So twice this week. I don't know which 2 days yet. I think I'm probably going to do, I'm not going to say I'm not going to know. I'm going to say it. Tuesday and Thursday. Tuesday and Thursday. Because I want to eventually get up to 3 or more, but just this week, just as I'm getting into this new schedule and figuring things out, Tuesday and Thursday, I'm going to go to the gym on my way home from work. So that is my goal, my start goal this week. And my recommendation, and I've said it once and I'll say it again, snack prep. I'm telling you, I know people, when they think of meal prepping, you think of a whole meal, a breakfast, a lunch, a dinner. Guys, take those grapes off the vine. Put those bananas and apples right where you can see them. Cut up strawberries if you don't want to eat them whole. Hard boil your eggs on a Sunday night and have enough for the whole week. Snack prep, because if those BLTs hit you and it's genuinely you just want something to eat, grab something like that. Take a couple bites. So, like literally sometimes in the evening, like right before I go to bed, I don't even know why. Every so great often I'm like, I just need something. I can take a little handful of grapes and drink a bottle of water. Bada bing, I'm good to go. That's all I needed. So yeah, snack prep, friends. Cut that friction. Get them ready to go. Get them easy to handle. And I think that can really help out too with the BLT situation too. So that was mine.
Love it.
Yay.
So y'all know that I'm continuing the momentum of meal prepping. And the week that this episode goes live, the coming weekend, I'll have a long weekend. Like I have the following Monday off of school. Yay. And so, when your schedule changes ever so slightly, it's easy to, go lax with the routine. So even though I'm going to be at home on the Monday, my intention is to eat the breakfast and lunch that I would have eaten if I was at work. So like meal prep for the full week as if I were going to work. Yeah. Just to see how that goes. So that's like the added specific layer just to shake it up for this week. And then my recommendation, I'm on a snack and product recommendation train if you've been watching the episodes of September. And it kind of ties in with the BLTs, so we're going to roll with it. Yeah. If y'all have not tried the WW Ranch tortilla chips yet, they're like a Cool Ranch
Dorito
vibe. Yeah, Dorito vibe. I love the nacho ones already, but then like they really hit the nail on the head with the ranch, y'all. And it's 2 points for the whole bag. And when I have stuff like this in my house, I'm not BLTing. Why is it so hard? BLTing because I know like I just have this like to reach and go for. Yeah. So I'm just not as tempted by other stuff. So definitely
and
you
know the portion size, the points amount. Like, yeah.
You can eat out of the whole bag.
Many people ask about those. They're like, how do I get a hold of these? Oh my gosh. I've heard they are so, so good.
WW Shop online and in studios. But they're really so good. Like y'all.
Yeah, in studio. You can just hop in a studio and grab some, and you wouldn't have to order online. But yeah.
Winning. I'm trying not to eat them right now, to be honest, because as soon as we get done recording this, I'm going to eat dinner. So I'm like, talk about a bite, lick, and taste. I'm feeling it, but I'm like, no. I'm like, don't eat it because you're about to have dinner. Like, you're okay. It's going to be fine.
Yeah.
True story. All right, the quote. Know. Are we out there? Okay.
Oh, yeah. We're at quote time.
Quote time. Strength grows in the moments when you think you can't go on, but you keep going anyway. Let's keep going, y'all.
Friends. Yeah.
Let's finish September strong. We're like midway at this point, almost over midway.
Yeah.
We're getting into that really, like, we're coming up on the Bermuda Triangle of, like, events. We have Halloween. We have Thanksgiving. We have all of the holidays, whatever you celebrate.
Oh, yeah.
So, let's set the tone in the month of September. I'm ready.
I've already had somebody ask, like, can we please address the topic in October of Halloween candy?
We've been preparing for that since January. We have a running list of so it's like, of course we will. Of course we will.
Oh, I know. Because we'll have to do a special one for Halloween, a special one for Thanksgiving, a special one for Christmas treats. Because I can lose my mind with some Christmas treats. So that's
holiday treats in general. Because I know Jewish holidays, they have some amazing food. So I know, and that's a very extended holiday season. That's they have multiple days of food.
This might not even be for y'all. This might just be a therapy for me to talk it out.
Yeah.
This is for me. This isn't for y'all. This is for me today. Yeah. All right, friends. Well, thank you so much for dropping by.
And have a magical day. Woo!
Bye, friends. Bye.